What's up, guys? How we doing? Well, about 4 or 5 years ago, well, almost 4 years ago now, maybe 4.5, 3.5, yeah, something like that. I decided I'd put Ian together one of these swing sets. It comes in pieces. I swore up and down at that time I'd never do it again. Well, turns out God made a liar out of me. We bought another one to go with the bigger yard, the bigger house, the funner stuff, so we needed a new play set. So we have one. And I'm getting ready to tackle that incredible task of reading instructions and putting part A with part AC and or part A3, all that fun stuff. That's really not what I come to tell you about, but there's a sermon there about following God's orders and God's instructions, and regardless of how big of a mess it is, it's still God's. So He's still got it figured out, and He already knows what's coming. He knows the final before it ever takes place. Golly, y'all, that'll preach. Seen a scene yesterday, a scenario that was not pleasant, but it was quite a God moment. There was a terrible, terrible accident. People laying in the road, out of their cars, mangled cars everywhere. There was many people hurt, and some of them quite severely. You could tell just from knowing things. And as soon as I pulled up on the accident, we pulled up at the same time the fire truck pulled up. And I told Ian, I said, son, start praying now. Start praying for these people. Just ask Jesus to touch and heal each and every one of them, and they'll all be okay, and they'll all get through this fine. And he didn't hesitate. He started praying. That, childlike faith, man, it's incredible. But the part that astounded me the most as I was watching this scene unfold, and then a few years ago, or even if I didn't have Ian with me in the car, I would have been out in a moment's notice doing what I could to help people. As a former EMS personnel, you don't forget what you know. So I would have been able to help people to some extent, or pray for them, or both. But the part that caught my attention was there was people of all nationalities and all races, all colors of skin, laid out across the road and stuck in their cars. And you know what didn't happen? The people that jumped out of their cars to run up there to help these people, to literally I seen people pulling shirts off their back to put on people that were bleeding. People just bringing all kinds of stuff from their cars to try to help these people laying in the road or stuck in their cars that were hurt. Not a single one of them asked them what their race was. Not a single one of them asked them what they believed. Not a single person there asked anything except for, what can I do to help you? These people were of all walks and all faiths, jumped out of their car and went to help. And the people they were helping were from all walks and all faiths. There was no way they were going to not help one another. My God, somebody, can we get back to that way of life again? Can we get back to neighborly love? Can we get back to where people love one another enough that no matter what their situation is, we're there to help them? Come on, somebody. Can we get back to a point where godly love overcomes everything else? Not a single person jumped out of their car and said, are you vaccinated? Not a single person jumped out of their car and said, you know what? You're not wearing a mask. I can't help you. Not a single person turned down help because somebody wasn't wearing a mask or vaccinated. Not a single person turned their back on one another at that moment. Me and Ian sat in the car and just prayed over all this situation. All the way home, we prayed over it. We just asked God to intervene. And we may not have been able to physically get out of the car at that moment, but we sent our spirit into the middle of that situation and introduced God into the middle of a situation where He needed to be. Not a single person there was going, you know what? I need your medical history before I can touch you. No. None of that happened. People were giving, caring, loving for one another in pure and honest love. Can we get back to that, somebody? Can we get back to where it don't matter what my brother and sister's going through, I'm there. It don't matter if it's their fault or not, I'm there. I'm there to show the love of Christ. I'm there to be the love of Christ. Can we get back to that responsibility? Because we are our brother's keeper. We are the one that comes and stands in the gap when my brother is weak or my sister is weak. We are the ones that are called upon in the middle of the night to go and pray at the bedside of a dying loved one. We are. You know what? It don't matter what they're dying from. I've laid hands on those who are really, really sick. I've laid hands on people who were just barely sick. I've seen God heal cancer in people's bodies. I've seen God remove cysts from brains. And, people have been given death sentences as short as a month, as short as a week. And we've prayed for them, and they're still living today. See, there's not a situation we can't show love in where it's not beyond God's capability of performing His miraculous. I tell you, I seen a tragic scene yesterday, and then I seen a beautiful scene all in the middle of that tragedy. I seen God moving without question. Can we take today's tragedy and let God move? In the name of Jesus, I pray for you guys. Be blessed.